Welcome back, everyone. Our next speaker is Mr. Lee Goff, the founder of Marketing Agency Coach. He'll be talking about top things on brands' agendas and productization as a key topic. Lee is a very, very well known speaker in the field of digital agencies, and he'll be giving a complimentary access to his ebook as part of your registration. So watch out for an email coming your way after the event. We're super happy to have him with us today. Lee, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. With your super high res picture one more time. Great to see you.
Am I centered? I don't know if I'm there.
So Lee, I don't want to steal your time. So over to you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you very, very much, and I appreciate you having me. Thanks to the Agency Growth Events and Barris there for putting on an amazing event. The amount of value and content that they have provided is honestly staggering, and I'm honored to be a part of it, a small part of it. But thank you for having me. So, everyone, I am going to show my presentation today. These are the exact tactics that I provide to my one-on-one coaching students to help them achieve higher profits and increase their quality of life for not only themselves but for their agencies and their employees. So post COVID, there's been a pretty seismic shift in the growth strategies of my students. They're almost universally leaning into what's called quality of life businesses, of which means that they want to work less, make a little bit more money, and most importantly, spend a lot more time with their friends and family. In true fashion, I was so proud. Again, over the past 8 months to a year, we've all been pivoting on their plans and getting them into that mindset instead of going big. They're focusing on just kind of higher profits and quality of life. But in true fashion, when I say this, I was so proud of our industry, our digital marketing industry here, because in a lot of other industries, they always go after profit, but they'll sacrifice a value or they'll sacrifice delivering overwhelming value a lot of times. In our industry, every single one of my students will achieve a higher quality of life by getting higher profits, but they all said they must provide overwhelming value at the same time. They could never take the additional profits if their clients didn't get the additional overwhelming value out of the products and services. So the three things that I'm going to show you today are the same items that I teach to my one-on-one coaching students that they pay me a lot of money to teach them. It will increase your overall quality of life and it will achieve higher profits. And again, most importantly, deliver overwhelming value every single time. Okay, so let me dive off into this. And before we do that, let me just give you a quick overview of who I am. My name is Lee Goff. I am your marketing agency coach. My URL is marketingagencycoach.com if you ever want to learn more about me. I started my agency in 2003. I built that into a multi-million dollar success that won top company culture awards from Entrepreneur Magazine in multiple years. Won Partner of the Year for Keep multiple years. I currently write for Forbes magazine. I am on the Forbes Coaching Council for a few 2 or 3 years now. And my agency, I'm very proud of this one. My agency was actually a finalist, didn't even win this one, but one of my students, one of my, at the time, clients did win it. The Elite Business of the Year, and this is a big deal. This is the top 1% out of all companies using Keep's ecosystem. So the best of the best, and we won that. So I'm also a single dad of an amazing 13-year-old little girl, and I love, and my purpose in my life, other than my little girl making her life better, is to make your life easier. So I hope all of you are having a great day out there. Let's get off into these three things. Number one, it all starts with your target audience and how well you can clearly define your target audience. You must have a precise target audience definition. You must know exactly where to go to learn about their industry, about how to networking, what podcasts do they listen to, what magazines do they read, online or offline, who are the coaches, who are the influencers in your respective niche or target audience. You see, when you're a jack of all trades agency, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to increase your profits past the $125 an hour rate. It can be done. I actually did it at my agency, but it's very hard and it's not something I would ever recommend to any of my students in the current business climate. At that time, we almost had to kind of do that. Now that's changed, and having a product line is the right way to go about it. Especially knowing what I know now, and that how dominant the productization pricing model is over the traditional time and materials type of agreements, the more you can focus your products on solving precise pain points for a precise target audience, the better for your bottom line. Let me give you a quick example. For example, I heard something there. So, okay, for example, pediatricians require all forms on their website to to be HIPAA compliant. So you can include HIPAA compliant forms in all of your website products for free because you can build it one time, deploy it 1,000 times, therefore providing much more value because you already know the precise pain points of your target audience and you're not building it for the first time. You have it built, sitting on the shelf, and you simply roll it off the shelf as you need it. This applies towards AdWords campaigns, Facebook campaigns, basically everything. If you have a precisely defined target audience, you can hyper focus on their pain points and standardize your product delivery to deliver overwhelming results every time you sell a product. Okay. So, as a part of that, obviously, niching down is a part of that. Well, we've all heard it, and defining your precise target audience is one aspect of defining your niche. When you niche down, you can centralize your messaging, your lead generation efforts, you can create what's called an unfair competitive advantage, of which I'm going to get into in just a second. And most importantly, again, deliver overwhelming value every single time. When you niche down, do not go big. A lot of people think that you need to go big. You need to niche the niche. Now, I think a lot of you have probably heard that term. What that means is don't pick home services. Pick synthetic turf providers in the home services category, or custom cabinet shops in the home services category, or something very specific. The more specific you are in defining your target audience and niche, the more successful and profitable your agency will be. Don't forget the old saying, riches are in the niches. These are just a few of the reasons that this saying holds true even to this day in our unbelievably fast and dynamic industry. It still holds true. I just mentioned unfair competitive advantage. When you focus on one target audience, you get to understand their pain points intimately, and you can solve those problems with unique products that, again, give your agency an unfair competitive advantage over jack of all trades. Let me give you just a few quick examples. I already gave you the one about the pediatrician marketing agency. That is actually a student of mine, and that is actually a product that they sell. Those HIPAA compliant forms are in there. For a jack of all trades agency to do that, it's going to cost them minimum $1,000 to $1,500. Internal cost. You have to charge client $2,500. If you can give it away for free, obviously that's an unfair competitive advantage because your pricing is so much lower while still delivering the same value or even more because you're not guessing at how to do it. You've already been doing it for a lot of pediatricians. Another example are cigar shops. And again, these examples I'm giving you, these are actually my students' examples that are out there selling these products. Okay, so this is not theoretical stuff. This is stuff that I'm doing all the time in my one-on-one coaching sessions. Cigar shops. You see, cigar shops, it's all about loyalty programs. This helps them keep their existing clients coming back, keeps them engagements up, and it's simply a great solution for cigar shops. Well, a loyalty program can be a little bit complex. So they are building out a white label product that they're going to be able to resell over and over with high profit margins that deliver overwhelming value at all times. And they can do it for probably half the cost of a jack of all trades agency. Plastic surgeons, one of my students in Los Angeles County out there, the ADA is a very big deal in the plastic surgery niche right now. We did a product launch about 6 months ago, sold, I think it's around $70,000 in ADA products, of which replaced a lot of the custom website revenue that they would traditionally traditionally go after. And what happened is we increased the profit margin. Actually, on the websites, those are more of a loss leader. There's not much profit in there in this specific agency's product line. There's not much profit in there. In the ADA, there's a ton of profit. So we've replaced that revenue with a much higher profit margin product line, and they are very happy to say the least. Referral partners. When you have a precise target audience and it's clearly defined, okay, there's an old saying, if you serve everyone, you serve no one. I built my agency with the help of referral partners, and without them, I would have never achieved what we did. We had 4 referral partners that combined for over 60% of our total gross revenue, eventually to where we became an implementation referral partner. All of these referral partners sent me leads after the relationship was established that didn't cost me a dime. We were selling 200 to 300 apps a year with monthly residual income, just like SaaS revenue, and tons of other services to these people. And we never had to do any of the actual lead gen. It was wonderful. Now, again, don't go too big with your niche. And just because you pick one niche does not mean you cannot add another one down the road. It is false to think that if you niche out, it will limit your opportunities. It's actually exactly opposite of that. Okay. Now, number two, value-based pricing or productization. So to recap, number one is a very clearly and precisely defined target audience. Number two is value-based pricing, or what I call productization. Agencies are looking to get paid for the value their products or services bring to the clients, not get paid for the time or materials or level of effort they put into the project. I have been working on this pricing model specifically for the digital agency industry since 2013. It all started with a report I wrote. I custom wrote it at first, and then I templatized it, and eventually I had it down to the point where it took me about 3 to 5 hours to compile the report, write up the report, and my clients would pay me on average about $2,000 to complete this report. Now, the best part about the report is that it told them exactly what their plan was going to be going forward. Now, they could take that report and go hire someone else, but probably 90% plus, they would hire me because I had already done the deep dive, already did the work. They were no longer prospects. They were a working client, and they saw how much time I put into this report and how much value it delivered. So they naturally would hire me for the much larger engagements. From there, it moved on to out of the box automation campaigns, digital products, coaching bundles, and so on. So it's very important that you look at what's called productization or value-based pricing. When you do that, you need to establish a baseline product versus your custom or your bespoke work. The goal is to sell 70 to 80% off-the-shelf products and 20 to 30% custom work. For the bespoke work, you must have an established value-based pricing baseline. It's very important to understand that, a value-based pricing baseline, and that requires providing products at 2 or 3 different price points that convey the values. Think of the good, better, best. A lot of you have heard of that out there, and you should have a templated version of a website. Okay, so hey, here are 5 world-class templates for dentists. You can get this one done for $2,000 or $3,000, and to compare that to here's our custom work. It'll be $6,000, but it's 100% unique to you, to high-end branding and everything else. The simple act of having a comparison product there will allow you to charge a lot more. One thing I see all of the time is that agencies are leaving 20 to 40% of available revenue on the table out of the gate. And it's simply as a result of not having an itemized product line for your prospects to play with or to compare against. The simple act of itemizing what you're doing for your clients is an eye-opening experience for most of my agency students. At that point, it becomes very clear at how much money they have actually lost over the years. Every single time one of my students rolls out their product line that breaks everything down into individual items or Legos or an itemized product list, they instantly start making 20 to 40% more revenue for the exact same services that they were doing the day before. So let me say that again, 20 to 40% more revenue off of the exact same services that you were doing the day before, simply by not giving away services, by having everything itemized out and charging for everything that you are actually doing. Once it's itemized, you can bundle it, and that's called value stacking. So now you can get into larger discounts with a monthly savings of $165 a month, total monthly value $2,000, and in this case, they actually charge them about $1,800. It saved them a bunch of money. Once you get those bundles, then you can do creative financing. One of the biggest barriers to entry on hiring professional agencies like yours is cash flow. There are a lot of small businesses out there that just like you were at one day or still are, that don't have 50 grand in the bank. So simply offering them a 12-month financing option is going to help them out tremendously. It's hard to do that when you do custom or bespoke work because you never know where those products begin or end. But if you have a flat rate product line, it's easy to offer finance solutions, and it's easy to close deals and stabilize your cash flow. Number 3, and the last thing I'm going to talk about today, are digital assets. Digital assets are defined as basically any 100% digitally delivered asset that provides overwhelming value in the form of education, services, resources, or campaigns. Obviously, once you build out these digital assets, you can use them thousands of times. Digital assets are typically like training videos, automation campaigns like the one you have on here. Over to the right here, you can see how many times I've installed them. So I built these 1 time, and these are whatever, 50, 60, 70 different installs. What would typically take 40 hours to build these campaigns, I now install it in about 10 to 20 minutes. Most of the time I pass that savings on to my students. These campaigns are actually from what's called my agency sales system. It's a done for you sales system that we do as a part of my product line for agencies. We also have this one in a do it yourself training videos or workshop. So you can come in and knock that out as well. Another example of digital assets is basic training videos around how to log into their SEO portal to get the results without having to call you, or an SEO or an SEO training video on what is keyword density, schema, whatever it is you want to do. But these educational videos deliver overwhelming value. You produce them once and it's over. Same thing with these niche nugget bombs. These are part of my agency success roadmap program, and you'll get one or two of those above and beyond the over 14 courses and 80 tools you already get. These are just above and beyond delivering additional digital asset value to everything that you do. Now, I kind of had to rush through that, so I hope I have enough time for questions. Again, my name is Lee Goff, www.marketingagencycoach.com, or we've got Agency Nomads group on Facebook or Instagram.
Lee, thank you so much.
I had to rush that. So I hope I got it all in there on time. Dr. Bear, I appreciate everything you're doing here. I've got your name and everything up here, so I really appreciate all this stuff you've done. So
thank you so much. Well, the thing is, I'm going to ask you a few questions because I've been taking literally a page of notes. Because the things that you just talked about, having a knowing, well, I can really summarize them as knowing your audience, owning a niche, value-based pricing, and productization and stacking and creating value bundles. And those can be applied to any business out there, not just agencies. And I think these are like basic principles of good management applied to a very specific setting of digital agencies. Can you tell us a bit more about when you start talking to brand clients, not just agencies, how does this resonate?
Well, it's actually a very good observation. We, as an industry, the digital agency industry is evolving. We're actually now have the ability to offer more product lines, whereas before we didn't. Okay, so I know a lot of this stuff sounds like it's commonplace, and it is commonplace. And about 90% of all industries out there, it's just as our industry, we have not adopted this pricing model. This pricing model is dominant. I'm telling you, it dominates all other industries, and it's just now getting to our industry. So to answer your question directly, how does this impact like larger brands out there? One, if you're the agency and you're the larger brand, then you need to have a compare contrast product line for the lower tiers to not leave a lot of money on the table, and most importantly, allow you to charge more for the custom work. Now, if you're a larger brand out there looking to maybe productize yours, then I'm not sure if you're talking about the agency brands or the actual brands that they're servicing on that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. The thing is, I do understand that for an agency to own a niche and to create specific, let's say the HIPAA compliant forms is a fantastic example, I guess, to get into the world of pediatricians, and so these. You make them sound easy. Let's put it that way. You make them sound really, let's say, as if it was, yeah, okay, so what? But can you tell us about how, well, we know this is hard stuff. Can you tell us how to identify these niches and how does one choose its own niche?
Well, actually, I have a 10-step process that I run all of my students through to do that. So it's not as simple as like just go do this. But to answer your question, at the end of the day, it really boils down: do you like working with these people, and do they have the money to afford you? Are they digital friendly? Are the digital presences for that industry growing or declining, which is pretty much all of them are growing at this point. So I have, like I said, 10 different things that we go through and we check off. And so whatever the top 3 things you like doing, if you like underwater basket weaving, or I don't care what it is, whatever it is you want to do, right? Then we're going to go run it through my 10-step niche down formula just to make sure that it is indeed a viable option. But some of the best niches I've ever seen are things that you would have never heard of. For example, like synthetic turf or what's called sports turf. Okay, that's a big thing out in the desert, out west. It's becoming even a big thing out east in the United States here, and it's going to become a big thing globally. People are sick of cutting their damn grass, right? So they like having just the synthetic grass. Football fields, baseball field, everybody's going towards this, and it's huge. And so to niche out on that, one of my students is doing that, and they're doing wonderful. So don't be afraid to get hyper focused on your target audience. Don't think you're going to leave a lot of opportunity on the table by niching out. That's false. It's completely false. So.
Fantastic. Lee, thank you so much for coming onto Agency Growth Events again. We love hosting you, and hopefully we'll host you again in the future. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks, everybody. If there's anything I can do to help any of you guys, let me know, okay? Y'all have a blessed day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And with that, we go to our third networking break of the day. And once we're back from that on 4:30 in UK time, and wherever you might be with different, we'll get a crash course in the Growth Academy from MBT. So looking forward to that. I'll see you in 10 minutes.